Postal here. So today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to try to. We'll see if I can actually do this. Put some gameplay in, but I want to go over the personal missions and for each aircraft type. Before I hop right into this, though, quick reminder, tomorrow, starting at 2 p.m. Eastern Time through 2 a.m. Eastern Time, I will be doing a 12-hour celebratory stream on Twitch. Link is down in the description. You can always hop into my Discord as well if you've got any questions or concerns for some reason. But I do want to do a thank you. I've gotten to 1,000 subscribers finally, and I really appreciate everybody that's been supporting me through the years. Whether you're new to the channel or you've been with me for God knows how many years I've been doing this now, I really do appreciate it. Yeah, please do join me. It can be any time between that 2 to 2. That's 2 p.m. Eastern through 2 a.m. Eastern, which would be 8 p.m. Central European Time through 8 a.m. Central European Time. We will be having a couple different giveaways of some Tier 5 premium fighters through the event, and so I hope to see you there. All right, so back to the missions for each type aircraft. This is a question I get quite a bit, and I just figured, why don't we just go over it together, and we can go step by step as my kitten tries to attack me here. So these all lead to how do you get the Hero of the Sky badge, and so let's go over the actual missions, the badges that you can earn, and what that exactly means for getting the Hero of the Sky. So each of these has different badges, whether it's fighter, multi-role, heavy, ground attacker, bomber. They each have 3 different missions that can earn you 3 different badges. Each of these badges has, to earn the badge, you have to get to the 5th level of the mission. And once you get to the 5th level of that mission, then you earn the badge. So conceivably, there's 15 different missions levels. So if you get, all 5 missions of sector defense, all 5 missions of destruction of aerial targets, and all 5 missions of air battle for sectors in the fighter section, you would have earned 15 different levels of those missions. And that's where the Hero of the Sky badge comes in and the different ratings here. So on your aircraft type rank, if you're just getting one little chevron here, that's because you got 4 to 6 of the mission levels. If you've gotten 7 to 8, you're getting the 2nd chevron. 9 to 10, you're getting the 3rd. 11 to 12, you're getting the 4th. If you can get 13 of these missions down here added up, 13 levels, let's say, then you're going to get Hero of the Sky. You don't need to get 15. You don't need to get maximum on all 3 of these. But if you get 13, then you'll get Hero of the Sky. So for instance, you could get 5 of the missions here, and 5 of the missions here, and 3 of the missions here. And that would be that 13 levels, and that would get you a Hero of the Sky. So we'll review that again in just a second. But let's take a quick look at the fighter. So Flying Guardian badge, that's sector defense. To get the Flying Guardian badge, you will need to get 8 enemy aircraft killed while destroying... enemy aircraft killed while defending a sector. So if you're in a fighter, mainly a defense aircraft, you're staying in the sector, and you've killed those aircraft. The kills need to happen in the sector. So when you're looking at that circle, the enemy aircraft has to die inside that sector, and that counts as a kill while defending the sector. As long as you already own the sector, obviously. If the enemy owns the sector, well, then you're obviously attacking that sector. If nobody owns the sector, well, then again, you're attacking that sector. Defending the sector means that your team, your blue team, needs to own the sector, and the enemy aircraft that you kill dies in that sector. You need to do that 8 times to get yourself a Flying Guardian badge. That's the 5th level. If you only do it 6 times, you don't get the Flying Guardian badge. Excuse me, yeah, if you kill 6 times. But that's the 4th level of this mission, so that would count towards your missions here. If you got 6 while defending, that would be 4. That would be enough for 1 chevron. So just doing this would get you 1 chevron. Hell, if you got all 8, though, you would actually get 2 chevrons. Destruction of aerial targets. This is the Flying Paladin badge. The number of aerial targets destroyed in general. So this includes enemy aircraft. It includes air defense aircraft, bomber flight groups. If you get 17 kills in your fighter, you're getting a Flying Paladin badge. But again, if you, let's say you only get 10 this particular round, well, that's 3 levels of the mission, and so that those 3 levels would go towards raising your overall total. So let's say that we've got 8 while defending and 10 overall kills. So 8 while defending would give us 5 mission levels. Then the 10 overall kills would give us 3 more. So we're already at 8. We'd already have we'd already have the 2 chevrons here, right? But if we want to get the Flying Paladin badge in its totality, we would need to get 17 kills. Now keep in mind, these are not, you know, while in a sortie, these are not those kind of missions. These are badges. So these badges are just completed just any time during the match. So keep that in mind. Last for the fighter is the Flying Warrior badge. This is capture points received for destroying enemy aircraft and air defense aircraft when attacking a sector. So keep in mind, a big confusion of the game is capture points and how they're earned. Capture points are earned both while attacking and defending. If you're in a sector and you don't own it and you're attacking it and you destroy an enemy aircraft or an air defense aircraft, you'll notice that the overall pie, let's say, of the enemy owning that sector goes down. That's you gaining capture points on that sector. Whether you capture it or not, you're still gaining capture points. Once you fully capture it, then yeah, you've actually got it. You're earning overall win points. But just capture points are earned in that instance. You can also earn capture points while defending, which is really important when you're a fighter, but you can earn it while defending in any plane. And that means when you own the sector and you notice that the enemy is capturing it, they've got more than half the points or whatever, you know, they're on the way to capturing the sector, and you defend it and you kill an enemy aircraft, the capture points go back up. That's because you've actually earned capture points back, and those count towards your overall capture points. However, this particular badge is saying capture points for destroying enemy aircraft when attacking a sector. So you could conceivably end the game with 600 capture points because you defended the crap out of a sector, like you did for the Flying Guardian badge. And you could have 600 capture points, but not the 275 needed to get the Flying Warrior badge because you never left your sector. You never attacked another sector. So keep in mind, different badges require different things. And so to earn all 3 of these badges as a fighter in one battle, you need to be defending a sector and you need to be then attacking a sector, or vice versa, whatever. But you need to be doing both in a fighter to get all 3 of your badges. The focus for me would be, you know, defending and attacking as needed. Don't worry about the destruction of aerial targets. If you're defending to the point where you get a Flying Guardian badge and attacking to the point where you get a Flying Warrior badge, you're probably going to get 17 kills. You're probably going to earn your Flying Paladin badge. This would be the last focus of those 2, just because you'd have to have a complete change of mentality for the sector defense and the sector attacking. So let's say that we got the 275 for attacking. We've gotten the 8 for defending. We you know, we only got 10 kills somehow. I don't know. We're just gonna say. But total, that's 5 different levels we've got here, 5 different levels here, and 3 different levels here. That would get us 13. We would have gotten our Hero of the Sky. Now, if we got all 3 badges, of course we're going to get Hero of the Sky, because that would be 5 levels of each, which would give us the maximum 15. But that's how you would earn the badges for your fighters. Now, some of these badges cross over, as we're going to see here. The multi-role fighters actually has a Flying Guardian badge for sector defense. Same exact scores. You'll notice some of these have crossovers, but the way to earn them is slightly different, and we'll see that in just a second. A sector defense for Flying Guardian badge needs 8 kills. Cool. So you can do that in a multi-role. A lot of multi-roles are built to, you know, do a little bit of everything, and part of that includes defending a sector. But multi-roles typically are very good at attacking, much better at attacking than most fighters are. And so a lot of these badges are also going to be built around actually attacking. Flying Vanguard badge is just simply captured sectors. So again, you would need 5 captured sectors to get yourself a Flying Vanguard badge. If you only get, you know, 3 sectors, well, that still goes towards Hero of the Sky badge up here. but you're not going to be getting, you know, this actual Flying Vanguard badge. 5 sectors are needed for the Flying Vanguard badge. Flying Raider badge. So this kind of looks like, when you start first reading it, it looks like the same badge as the Flying Warrior badge. Number of capture points received while attacking the sector. But there's some nuance to this. Number of captured points were received destroying enemy and air defense aircraft and ground targets. So keep in mind, multi-roles typically have the ability to attack the ground as well. And so you can get 300 capture points by either attacking the ground or the aircraft in that sector. And if you're doing that, then you can get yourself a Flying Raider badge. So there's some flexibility in the multi-role fighter that there wasn't with the regular fighter. Obviously, you need to get more capture points than you would as a fighter that's just killing aircraft. But any multi-role that's got any kind of ground damage ability is going to be able to do very well if it can, you know, if you're good at both attacking the air and the ground. So that's the Flying Raider badge. A little bit of everything. Just plain straight up sector capture and just plain straight up killing while defending. You know, that's what a multi-role fighter does, right? For a heavy fighter. Heavy fighters are meant to just attack sectors, right? Attack sectors and take down the big heavy the other heavy aircraft. And so you've still got a Flying Paladin badge here. Same as with the fighter, but you actually have less aerial targets needed to kill overall to get this badge. As a heavy fighter, you only need to get 15 instead of 17. So number of aerial targets destroyed. So enemy aircraft, air defense aircraft, bomber flights, only need to get 15. I say only. Heavy fighters, some heavy fighters are really good at taking out enemy aircraft. Some of them are just better at knocking a lot of their hit points down and letting other people, you know, take the last little bit of hit points. But heavy aircraft has a different scale. And if you're able to get 15 kills, you'll get the Flying Paladin badge, and that's 5 levels that would go towards the Hero of the Sky badge. Flying Shield badge. This one is unique to the heavy fighter. Is Strike Aircraft Interception. So this is killing enemy ground attack aircraft and bombers, including bomber flights. So if you can kill 8 combined bombers and ground attackers, then you'll get this particular badge. I don't typically get this badge all that often now that I'm actually looking at it. I tend to go kill the enemy heavy aircraft, and but you can actually take the steps to getting this aircraft relatively easy. I say with quotes around it. If it's a map that has a bomber flight, you know, a command center, you know, killing 2 or 3 or all 5 of the bomber flight, I mean, you're well on your way to getting this particular shield. If your enemy isn't a ground attacker, then, you know, focusing him down is also going to help you get this badge. But this is specific to that aircraft type. Doesn't matter if you're killing them defending or attacking. It's just literally killing them will get you this badge. And Fight for Territory. So this is, again, the Flying Fighter badge. Number of capture points received for both attacking the air and ground targets. The difference for this one is, for the Flying Fighter badge for this one, is it actually says while attacking or defending a sector. It's kind of weird. I'm not sure it said that for the actual fighter, did it? No, that's just Flying Warrior badge, not Flying Fighter. Not sure if that's Anyway, so number of capture points, up to 300 capture points for just basically doing everything, killing the aircraft, killing the ground targets. Most bombers, most heavy aircraft fighters have some sort of ground armament. Not all of them. I'd say I guess about half of them. The reload on bombs and rockets for heavy fighters typically is much longer than multi-rolls and certainly longer than ground attackers. So the focus typically isn't on ground damage when you're in a heavy fighter, but a lot of them have that supplemental damage, and so just dropping your bombs or rockets, whatever, will go towards getting the Flying Fighter badge. And so that's the 3 different items that you have for the heavy fighters. Again, each level of these will go towards the 15, well, you need 13, but 13 to 15 needed for the Hero in the Sky badge as you get these submission levels taken care of. All right, so now we've got something a little bit more unique. We'll be looking at the attack aircraft here and the bombers. So these, being ground attackers and bombers, your focus is going to be on ground damage, on sector flipping, and the badges really revolve around that. So, Flying Revenge Badge for the ground attacker. And a lot of these will cross over to the bomber. But they'll just have different levels needed. So destruction of infrastructure. This is number of sections of ground targets destroyed. So this is literally the little buildings. So for instance, you're looking at an anti-aircraft section, I should say. It has the actual anti-aircraft gun. Typically has 3 other buildings. That would count as 4 parts of the ground targets towards your 100 that you would want for this badge of Flying Revenge. Typically, if you're trying to get a Flying Revenge badge, you're just trying to kill as many little tiny buildings as possible. You can simply focus on taking out the easy to kill targets, tents and things of that nature. You don't even necessarily need to focus on getting the heavy ground targets knocked out until you've taken out all the light targets. I can typically do that and get like 30 per sector that I'm capturing, and then go back and focus on the heavy targets with rockets. It just kind of matters who you're up against. If you've got some human on the enemy team that keeps trying to focus you down, or if you're in desperate need of capturing sectors, that tactic will change, of course. But as you destroy parts of ground targets, your mission towards your Hero of the Sky badge will move up. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would be that 100, and that would go towards the 13 that you would need for Hero of the Sky badge. Flying Exterminator badge. This is destruction of ground targets. So this is number of capture points for destroying ground targets. So keep in mind, for the Flying Exterminator badge, it's only the ground targets. There will be times, I'm sure if anybody's flown, especially the German ground attackers, where you're like waiting for the bombs to reload, and you use your maneuverability to knock out an enemy ground attacker, or heck, even an enemy plane, heavy fighter multi-role, just because it's kind of there in front of you, and your guns are so good at taking out enemy aircraft. That enemy aircraft kill might capture you the sector. Certainly will get you capture points, but they do not go towards the Flying Exterminator badge, so keep that in mind. 400 capture points for destroying ground targets only. Keep that in mind. Keep your focus if you're going specifically for a badge. You have to keep your focus on what that is, what is needed to complete that. I have literally killed an enemy aircraft, captured a sector, and then was like, oh crud, those capture points do not help me. And when you're trying to go for the top level of these, sometimes it can be really difficult. Some matches, like, I can't tell you how many times I've been at 395 capture points, and just been like, really slap my forehead when I kill a freaking plane in front of me, and then the game's over. Last but not least is Flying Vanguard badge. Same thing as with the multi-role fighter. Just simply sector capture. Capture 5 sectors, you're going to get your Flying Vanguard badge. And that can be difficult, right? There's some games where you've played, I'm sure the game is over before you can get 3 sectors sometimes. Like, what the heck? Can I get a decent enemy team? I've had the flip happen too. I can't even capture 3 enemy sectors because the enemy team's so freaking good in their EF-131 or whatever. And it's just like, alright, I guess I didn't want to have a long battle. So you really need to take advantage of the battles where it is a longer battle. Keep the focus on any one of these missions and taking those sectors and doing that damage. Last but not least is going to be the bombers. So these are going to be very similar, if not exactly the same as they are exactly the same as the ground attacker missions and badges. Again, the threshold is different. Flying Exterminator badge. Number of capture points for destroying for destroying ground targets. This time, instead of 400 though, it's 550. Why? Because bombers can drop off a crap ton of bombs. They're also faster typically, so they can get from sector to sector, so they've got that flexibility that a ground attacker doesn't have. Keep in mind though, you're going out in your B-29C and killing 5 enemy aircraft. The enemy aircraft that you're killing don't count towards your Flying Exterminator badge. It's only the ground targets destroying that count towards the Flying Exterminator badge. So you might end up in a bomber with 800 capture points. I've seen it. But are you getting 550 ground target kills? Typically, if you're getting 800 freaking capture points, you're probably getting 550 of that as destroying ground targets. But I know we just sometimes need to keep that focus. Flying Revenge badge. Again, just the same type of badge as the ground attacker. But instead of 100 ground targets, parts of ground targets, it's 150. But again, it's just you've got so much more volume and reload and speed on your bombers that 150 is that's the threshold. And last but not least, the one that's actually the exact same as the multi-role and the ground attacker is a flying vanguard badge, 5. So each one of these, let's say we capture 5 sectors and we only get 120 parts of ground targets knocked out with our bomber. We've gotten 9 right there, so we would still need another 4. We would need 400 capture points for destroying ground targets. If we've got to that 4th level here, the 4th level here, and the 5th level here, then we've got ourselves a Hero of the Sky badge. And so that's how a Hero of the Sky badge is earned, is those different levels of the missions. And so you might sit back and say, well, how'd this guy get 14,000 personal points but only 1 frickin' chevron? Well, he wasn't doing his aircraft type missions specifically. He might have been out there. I mean, I can think of specifically an XF-54 pilot was defending the hell out of a sector. He had 14,000 personal points, 1 chevron. So I'm assuming, as a heavy fighter, he probably got something like, close to a flying paladin. I don't know how many kills he got. Maybe he got 14 kills. Maybe he got 15 kills. He wasn't killing bombers and attack aircraft. Or if he was, it wasn't enough to add up to be more than the 6 that would have gotten him this chevron. If he had gotten 7 total mission points, then he would have gotten 2 chevrons. So remember, this says for defending a sector. So he might have gotten really, really good on his flying fighter badge here. But if he only got, 9 kills while defending a sector, and 3 levels for flying fighter badge, that would have only been 6, and he would have still gotten 1 chevron. So that's why somebody might have really high personal points, but not a good amount of chevrons. You're not doing your quote-unquote mission according to your plane's style and role. It's the same thing I was just mentioning about a ground attacker. I could go out and I've gotten 7 air kills in a high-tier German ground attacker. That does nothing, like literally, look here, nothing here has anything to do with air kills. So I could get 100 air kills. I could get an ace in my ME329, and it would literally do nothing in regards to my Hero of the Sky badge. It's not killing any ground targets, right? It's not getting any capture points for killing ground targets. The most it might do is if I'm killing those targets in enemy sectors and getting the captures, capturing those sectors. But the most I could get out of that is 5. 5 missions taken care of. 5 levels, I should say, of the missions. So I could get conceivably, and that's only if I get 5 freaking sectors. I guess 4 sectors. I could get 1 chevron and get an ace in an ME329. And I'd get 1 chevron because it's not the missions specific to that plane type. So hopefully that clears up a little bit in regards to the Hero of the Sky badge. But also specifically, the reason I wanted to go over these details today is because there's missions coming up. There's new premium aircraft coming up. There's going to be missions for new pilots, things of that nature. And the question I always get is, hey, how do you earn the Flying Raider badge? Hey, what aircraft did you take out on the Flying Paladin badge? What do you need to do to get a Flying Revenge badge? I'm going to put the link to this page in the description below, so you guys can look at this as well and refer back to it. But this is I actually have this as a favorite because I don't remember how to friggin', even if you ask me right now, how do you get a flying fighter? I'm pretty sure flying fighter. No, see, I'm already wrong. It'd be Flying Paladin, right? Yep. See, I was going to say, I think it's 15 and 17. So yeah, I just don't remember. I've got too much other stuff going on in my brain. I've got this webpage saved. I can go and look at it whenever I need to. The point is, I want you all to know, how do you get these badges? And how do you get your Hero of the Sky badge? Because I'm willing to bet Hero of the Sky badge is probably going to be a mission for the Tier 9 Soviet plane that's coming out. Just considering it's a Tier 9 premium plane. Like, they're going to be tossing some crazy badges at us to try to get. And here's how you get them. And here's your list, right? This page actually has missions for Bomber Escort, but we can go over that at a different time. Right now, the aircraft-specific missions, I think, are more important. And it'll just help us, as a community, get better at the game and understand exactly what we're supposed to be doing. On top of that, like, it really, for the most part, and it's going to tell you, what your plane's best at. Yeah, there's going to be some different planes that don't quite fit the mold of whatever the missions are, but most fighters are defense aircraft basically. Most multi-roles can do a little bit of everything, including air and ground support. Most heavy fighters are going to be, taking out the even heavier aircraft like bombers and ground attackers, going to be taking out enemy aircraft in general and attacking sectors. And aircraft and GAAs and bombers should be flipping sectors is really what it comes down to. Destroying as much ground targets and flipping sectors. And so this kind of reinforces that and lets you see what is World of Warplanes looking for from me when I'm out there flying my plane. Well, this is what they're looking for from you. Anyway, I hope this is helpful. If you've got additional questions, please feel free to just reach out, either in the comments down below or hop into my Discord, link in the description below on that, as I've already mentioned. But yeah, hopefully this helps, and hopefully I'll see you guys sometime tomorrow during my 12-hour stream. I will have some of my friends and some people that I've hung out with and done streams with in the past will be joining me at different intervals. So I'm definitely going to have some awesome special guests tomorrow, and I hope to see you there.